Welcome back, everybody. And here we are ready to go into the second of this evening games. We're going to see Regen going up against 303 Esports. I'm Big Hungry Phil, as I was in the previous game, and with me still, Paulsable. Paul, this should be maybe a little more of a less even match than we saw in the previous matchup, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and it should be more of a standard matchup too, right? At least I don't think one of these teams will just throw all logic out the window and play compositional roulette like we saw in the last game. But for anyone who's just joining us in the Trial of Champions, let's take a minute and let's look over how it's shaped up in our first day and a half-ish, because there's been some crazy shenanigans already going through. I mean, Avoided have worked their way through the bracket. They're up facing Kratos, who, if you were just watching our last game, you know, our NA Trials team that nearly made contenders, and they beat Noble, another NA Trials team. The bottom half of the bracket, a little bit more stable, right? Revival and Scion, NA Trials and Contenders Actual, respectively, pulling it through, and Regen, who we're going to be seeing in this game, having lost to Scion Esports. Now they're down in the lower bracket. It's do or die for both our teams.
Whilst you've got the bracket on screen, probably should mention, unfortunately, Lunaris, the team we just saw take Kratos to a very close game 5. Unfortunately, they've had to forfeit their next round in the lower bracket, which means that our Zero are going to move forward uncontested. Really unfortunate, a team that showed an awful lot of promise in their previous round. Hopefully, this won't be the last we see of them. Of course, they are competing in Open Division and a bunch of other Tier 2, Tier 3 tournaments. So, yeah, unfortunate, but not the last we'll have seen from Lunaris.
Yeah, Lunaris' run ends here, but their unbridled chaotic energy will continue. Let's talk about our two teams here, though, Phil, because we're already hopping straight into games, so we got to make this a little bit quick. Yeah. Regen are a team I very much enjoy watching. I think that they have a very solid DPS lineup, and when it gets to overtime, their stalls are just ridiculous. My one concern is that they've had some questionable ult usage throughout yesterday and also throughout the Prospect Cup, which is where a lot of the games I've seen them play are from. And going into 303 Esports, you were saying that this might be a more one-sided game.
Well, now
it should be
diplomatic about it.
Yeah, it should be on paper, right? I mean, it's getting late over there for you, Phil, but
yeah,
make no mistake, you might be up for a little bit of time, because while 303 did get kind of dunked on by Avoided, it's hard to prep for Avoided, right? And Avoided has just been making a run through the bracket.
3, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah, so as we come out here, I think 303 Esports will have a much easier time, and HK Broke is actually a player I want to keep an eye on. Very good Genji in his own right.
Okay, well, maybe not a lot of surprises here. Not the standard double shield, but the dive variant, but Magic Maple straight in with the environmental kill. Taking Greg out of the picture, and big advantage now with the D.Va off the table. It means that we're going to see a little more aggression coming out from Regen. That's going to be the pick there onto Akash as well from Ship. And a dominant first fight on the back of a fantastic boot kill from Magic Maple.
Oh, and I want to talk about Magic Maple because I really do enjoy his Lucio play. He's getting discorded in focus now. But I was about to say, it's kind of feast or famine. He goes in a bit too deep sometimes.
Oh, cool ABC in the back looking for that pick, but whilst that chaos is happening, we're seeing 2 picks coming out from Glisten. CJ now out of the fight as well. Chopper down to Glisten as well. And cool ABC not getting the better of this Tracer matchup here. This is all Glisten in the kill feed. He's absolutely come alive in this retake fight and has helped take his team into a recap situation.
And man, a lot of the times when we see like one player in the kill feed over and over without an ultimate, it's, you know, they're mostly just getting the end of each kill. But Glisten pretty much earned each of those final blows. A lot of you might know him better as Zeus. I believe they are the same player. This is just a different named account for him. Zeus, a phenomenal Tracer player generally, but when you're running into a 2v1, it doesn't go that well.
No, not a lot of hit points to make that really work out for you. So man advantage now for Regen. And Chopper is closing in on having a blade, currently rounding out HK Broke, although HK Broke managed to get a little bit of that, but he gets completely run over there by Ship. Ship with a double with the rundown here, and looking good for a flip back here for Regen.
Both teams now going to have their Dragon Blades online and sound barriers to counter them too. Actually, both teams coming up to pretty much everything in the bank. It comes down to what is going to find value here. Cool ABC doesn't have a pulse bomb, so there's that little bit of advantage. Akash had to do a double take on that one.
Out comes the blade. It's going to be HK broke first out with that, but Magic Mate Ball procs the sound barrier, means none of that nullified. We also get CJ throwing in the Transcendence, so a little bit stacked here. Not a lot left to counter anything else that might come out on that one. CJ is able to find the pick that Akash goes down. We'll see the pulse bomb, and Ship just casually steps aside and avoids that one. And another win here, although we do lose Magic Mate Ball at the back end of it.
He's loose here. He'll be back in plenty of time. And I do actually like that CJ used that Transcendence there, because there is still a chance that you could have lost that fight, right? The problem is now you don't have it for this fight, and with the Transcendence available for Alexio, they can just WM1 forward.
Seems like Cool ABC did lose the matchup there to Glisten, but Glisten himself taken down fairly shortly after, and Chopper still doing work here. Akash now down, but no wins available for either team. Self-destruct out from Greg, but a little bit wide, not going to find too much. Does at least secure a shiny new mech for Greg to be keeping this fight in on. Self-destruct out, trying to zone people away from the recontest. Cool ABC now without the rewind available. Numbers advantage in a big way here for Regen, though, and as the respawns start to trickle in, they are starting to find kills and round out this team fight, but they've not been quick enough as Lava gets taken out by Gliss. Cool ABC now on the hunt. Had a line through onto Akash, but gets focused down by Annie, and it looks like we might be seeing another flip back here for 303.
Well, but honestly, this is still really good for Regen, despite the fact that they are going to lose control to point. They got up to 99, and they stalled so long without really using any ultimates. They're going to have a slew coming back into this next fight. It's practically dealer's pick for them as how they want to approach this. And Ani's nearly at that sound barrier, sure, but if that gets forced out before the blade, Chopper's going to farm 303.
Well, no, there's no chance of using the pulse bomb to force that out. Just got to go ahead and hope for the best. In fact, we've now got Dragon Blade for Dragon Blade, and it is going to be HQ Brooklyn coming out on top of that one. The rest of his team finding kills around his body damage, and 303 Esports hold on.
Yeah, good work there, honestly. Chopper, I feel like he pulled that blade out a little bit too early. It didn't feel to me like Regen identified their win condition properly. I would have liked to have seen them play a slow dive and bait the sound barrier, but not going to be the case. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
You really gotta do him like that, HK broke? Dang, all right. That's
This
just
is
more
what-
time off the clock. There's only one last fight now for Regen, for Regen to come back into this, and they've only got tank ults to work with. Not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. They're going to have to make something big happen here, but honestly, trying to find value with self-destruct or Primal Rage here, unless you could really focus somebody down, which looks like they're not really going to be given the chance to. This Cool ABC is down already. Akash back to point to contest with the swing of the arms, and Regen are just falling here. The second they come back into the point, 303 Esports seem to have an answer, and one kill from the self-destruct is not going to be enough, particularly when the remake is immediately dealt with. 99 to 99. 303 Esports with the numbers, looking like we might see the cap here.
Yeah, we just might get another close game after all, Phil. Here comes the blade, but it's hardly even necessary. And I want to shout out Alexio there, because I feel like if a Zen doesn't show up in the kill feed, shutting down flankers, going all crazy, they kind of get overlooked. But Alexio played that round just very solid. And having, when it's dive versus dive, this is basically like OG dive, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
when it comes down to that, Alexio didn't get picked as often as CJ, it felt like. And his Discord orb priority was always utilized by his team. 303 Esports, when Alexio calls out a target that is Discord orbed, the rest of his team are always there. Great teamwork from them, and now they have that one-round lead.
Coming into Lighthouse, no changes here, both running that OG dive, no DLC characters at all available for these guys. Waiting for the gauge to come through. CJ playing away in the back. Up on the high ground even. Going to be very well protected there, but not able to follow this chase around quite so easily. Glisten gets the rundown. Magic makes it. He's even got the time to throw in a couple of squats to keep himself nice and limber. They will lose Akash here, and Chopper secures the D-Mix, and now there is no tank presence at all here for 303. And so despite a couple of really good early kills for 303, they have not won this fight yet, and Regen looks set to win it out.
I'm not gonna lie. Zeus had a little bit of, Glisten rather, had a little bit of fun that round with the tactical crouch, but that little bit of damage that he could have been pumping into the enemy team might have actually cost his 303 Esports that first point. Now Cool ABC has that pulse bomb. Chopper's beating HK Broke to the blade right now.
Oh, the pulse bomb gets eaten down by Greg. The defense matrix there to deal with that. Doesn't stop Cool ABC getting the pick, and it's Lava down first. D-Mech now onto ship as well. HK Broke closing in on the blade. Won't need to use it yet, but looking good now. With a flip for 303. Nobody really there from Regen to contest.
Oh, and you get away from that fight without using your blade to enter too, right? Cool ABC whiffs that pulse bomb, and although he gets Alexio early in that fight, there's, you know, the rest of Regen are just too heavily invested and not on the proper targets. So now you're going to come back into this, a blade available for Regen, and no Transcendence here, but an early blade from HK.
HK might have kind of whiffed that one a little bit. It seemed like there was nobody there to actually swing the blade at, and we got the sound barrier out from Annie as well, but kills already in favor of Regen. Now here's the blade out from Chopper, and that's going to be the one that finds a little more value. HK Broke down, and it's down to the Tracer 1v1. Cooler ABC up against Glisten. Rewind now used, and it's Akash on the point with the Primal Rage that keeps us going that a little bit longer. We do get the flip for Regen.
Well, and they can try and go for a stall here, Regen. Ship is dancing around the objective and stalling this one out nicely. There's another fight available.
Well, there's the D-Mech. Nobody there to deal with the Pulse Bomb that time. Pulse Bomb for Pulse Bomb. Magic, Mate Ball, and Greg both down. HK Break it behind one there as well. Through onto the point, it's starting to look like kills here in spades for 303 Esports, but Regen's still managing to stall this out. And HK Broke focused down, chased away, but Lava got a little bit greedy, forgot there was that mega health back in there for HK Broke to get, and so he was back at full strength, finds the pick, gets the flip.
And this is what I was kind of talking about with questionable ultimate usage coming into this. Magic Mate Ball used the sound barrier there. There was no way you were winning that fight. You're at 90% anyways. You don't really have to go for that extra stall. It was going to be one fight territory regardless. That was the one tool Regen had coming back into this next fight. Now you basically have to go for a drive push into a blade.
Well, blade again from HK, maybe a little bit quick off the mark. Only found Magic Mate Ball. Sure, it's guaranteed you a fight win, but you would have maybe liked just a little more stat padding out of that one, really.
Yeah, not the flashiest blade, but I mean, it gets more time off the clock, and now we're working toward more ultimates for 303 Esports. That being said, not too many, right? It's really only the sound barrier that's coming up and available, so you're looking at Glisten, hoping he can get a pick to shut this fight down early, else Chopper is going to have a heyday with this blade.
Yeah, Chopper's got to go in early, though, because Annie is rapidly closing in and might just have the sound barrier in time. Here comes the blade out, and Annie just got that in time. No damage throughput at all from that blade. Really unfortunate from Chopper. Has brought a little bit of confusion, if nothing else. We're going to see two picks already coming through for Regen. There's the third and the fourth, and looking good for a flip, which puts them neatly into last fight territory.
Yeah, and Lava can actually use this Primal to just keep 303 Esports off the objective. Even if there's a desperate stall here, I mean, Glisten has to basically blink past the Winston. I mean, you'll get overtime triggered by HK, but it's not looking good for 303.
No, Annie down. HK as well. We'll see the stall come through, even with the Transcendence there, just for good measure. Of course, Transcendence will protect you from the Pulse Bomb. Getting out of the way will, though, so nobody's going to fall for that one just yet. Pulse Bomb thrown in, self-destruct in the corner. Nobody dies to that one. And Akash starting to find a couple of picks. Will take Chopper out of the equation for now. Transcendence for point will run down from CJ. And I do feel like this is a hiding for nothing from the 303 Esports. Regen, they've got the solidity on the point. They're not going to be dislodged by anything less than a pretty major ultimate here, which they don't have. HK's down before that could come out, and that is it. 1-1 on Ilias, and we're off to Ruben's next ball.
And it's 91 to 100%. Not quite as close as the first round where it was 99, but these teams right now, they're willing to try this mirror. Both teams think themselves the better at it, regardless of how these first couple rounds have gone. And I really want to kind of zone in on Magic 8ball, because while he has had some incredible plays, he has also had some questionable sound barriers, some good ones too. He sound barriers at the very end there and basically ensures his team will win Lighthouse. But now we come on to Ruins, right? And neither team's running with a Widowmaker. So the question is, Magic 8ball and CJ, I'm looking for them to play a little bit more conservatively. There is knockoff potential technically over on the side, but it's so unlikely compared to the other two maps.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. You've really got to wait for your opponent to really push their luck at how close they're going to get onto that one. Well, he's going to take the 1v1 with Glisten, but Glisten's going to back it out of that one. He's going to take it. Beautiful dash suit from Chopper. Takes HK down, and that's got to be a cap right there for Regen. They've taken out 2 already, and Chopper just has dash resets for days here.
This is probably the DPS composition that I love the most for Regen, right? I don't care what the tanks are. I don't care what the supports are. If you've got Chopper on Genji and you got Cool ABC on Tracer, Regen, I feel like you do well more oftentimes than you don't. Cool ABC is always a monster in the back line. Chopper builds his blades very quickly while still applying pressure in team fights. As long as Cool ABC gets away, they should be fine, is what I was going to say.
Overstayed their welcome, and now it takes 5v6 in favor of 303. But Chopper, again, seems to be mostly finding value here just with the Swift Strike. Finds 2 picks here. Glisten has the Pulse Bomb. Probably won't even need to use it here. Well, might just throw it in for good measure. That was Glisten's throwing Pulse Bomb in even. Does at least get the Transcendence out of CJ. Chopper now with the Blade. Finding too much with that one either, but by space and kills will come through. Round of the 50% mark.
What a great call there from Regen. Most teams, you know, you've lost 3 or 4 members at the beginning of the fight. You just say, all right, GG, go next, save our Transcendence. But CJ keeps his team alive after it's forced, honestly, for him to use it. And Regen are going to keep control. That Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything from Cool ABC, and HK Broke does have the Blade.
Speaking of which, out it comes. No defensibles available. HK Bro chases down Lava. And he's going to go down with some sound barrier coming out from Annie as well. Looks to be 303 in control as the dash comes through. And Regen, those that are left, take a tactical reset.
But this round has not been as close thus far as the other ones were. Back and forth, back and forth. This round, it's all been Regen. So now you're looking at a long defense here. That's a good start. Pick on a Magic 8ball, who, once again, not exactly playing far enough back to where he can't be punished. But you still got a lot of time to try and buy off the clock here, and only a Primal and a Transcendence readily available. If Ship can work some magic with this self-destruct, Regen could look to nearly close out the map.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of picks here with the self-destruct would make all the difference here, but it is that 4v6. Well, Chopper might just have a hand on that one anyway. We'll get focused down, so now no Genji available for either team. Cool ABC back at the 1v1 with Glisten. Abort that for now. Cool ABC closing in on a Pulse Bomb here as well. Back into
there it is.
One, and there's the double. That's the magic number you were looking for. Bit of the store coming out here from Alexio. Pops the Transcendence, keeps in the fight. Cool ABC threw in the Pulse Bomb. Didn't even see where that landed. Didn't find too much. We'll see the DMEC come through onto Greg. There's the rundown onto Alexio. HK broke down, and we're looking at a flip.
And now, last fight territory here for 303 Esports. You gotta rush to the objective. And it's gonna come down to Blade v Blade. Chopper versus HK Broke. Who gets more value? I'll give you a hint. It's probably the one who has a sound barrier backing him up. Magic 8ball. As long as he doesn't flub this ultimate, Regen should be able to close this out.
Well, let's see how that works out. Magic 8ball gets it off in time, hits everyone except Ship, who didn't look to be in the line of fire. And ultimately, that Dragon Blade on a hiding to nothing. Chopper, on the other hand, able to find one with that. Now back into the primary fire. Cool ABC, who's going to be desperately trying to blink out of the way of that self-destruct. Gets it, and it's 99 on the board now for Regen, staring down the barrel of a map 1 victory here. That's going to be it. Regen in a closer than expected 3 sub-map series on Ilios.
But ultimately, Regen pull it away, and honestly, across the board, pound for pound, I think Regen have a lot of the advantages coming across. I mean, you know, we talked a lot about Magic 8-Ball. I still think he struggled a little bit. You know, I personally don't, when I'm on a team, if my Lucio's getting picked as much as Magic 8-Ball does, I get a little tilted. These guys, though, they play with this guy. They know his deal. And as much as Magic 8-Ball can get picked, he also gets, you know, beautiful boops at the beginning of the map that he really shouldn't be getting, right? So, you know, you take the good with the bad in Regen. There's more good than bad, I would say, in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Magic 8-Ball in particular, you know, what you're seeing is kind of dizzying highs and crushing lows. Might be overselling it a little bit, but, you know, his goods are really, really good, and his bads kind of, you know, costing you team fights. Which that's kind of the life of a Lucio player, though, isn't it? Like you're an extreme duelist, but you've also got to be there to be like the backbone of the team with ability and the stun barrier. So that's kind of how it works out some days.
Yeah, and to be fair to Magic 8-Ball, it's not like he was dying like egregiously in the middle of beats or, you know, something crazy, right? It's, you know, we're starting to reset, wanting to go back into a fight, and Magic 8-Ball got picked. All right, we have to wait 10 more seconds, right? Oh well. You're not losing a ton out of that. So I think across the board, Regen still feeling pretty happy regardless.
Well, it looks like we've got our next map decided upon. We're just going to get ready to load that in. We're going to be going to Junkertown for the second time this evening. Again, the second time it's been picked over Rialto. It makes me wonder what these teams have in mind, because Junkertown, as we've seen, kind of lends itself to a couple of bespoke compositions.
Well, and if I remember correctly, Zeus, aka Glisten, as he's being shown here.
I'm going to try and call him Zeus, but I can't guarantee it, Paul.
Well, we'll just call him Glisten because, you know, in the middle of cast, the people who know he's Zeus will know he's Zeus, and anybody who actually wants to know who we're talking about will know it's Glisten. So we'll keep on that. But Glisten has a pretty good Widowmaker, if I remember correctly. And 303, I mean, either way, I think this map made a pretty decent sense, right? Because realistically speaking, you just lost the dive matchup, so now let's try and force a double shield one, right?
Hey guys, we're just going to throw to a quick break while we try and iron a couple of things out, but we should be back with you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Unfortunately, it took us a little while longer to fix that than we really would have liked, and it does mean we have, unfortunately, missed a portion of this first run through Junkertown. So apologies for that, but we're here to bring you what is left of the action. Plausible, welcome back.
Yeah, we still have plenty of map to go, guys. We just missed a couple points on the first attack due to a little bit of a communication oopsie, but we're good. They paused it. Everything's sorted out now, so we should be heading back into game momentarily.
It's kind of tempting to try and speculate on what we might be running into. Unfortunately, the information we have in front of us doesn't allow us to look at exactly what's being run here. But, you know, I've seen Regen play before. I assume you've seen 303 Esports play before. I don't think we're going to be that surprised. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Genji poke in our future.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised to see Chopper on anything other than the Genji. Same thing with H key broke. Probably double shield if I had to hazard a guess. That being said, we don't currently know even who is attacking. We just know that one team is on the attack halfway through point C with still 3 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock. So whoever is attacking right now, doing a very good job, and it looks like we're getting in the game.
Okay, here we go. So that's going to be...
Oh, it's 303? Yeah.
303 on the offense. Chopper, not on the Genji, instead on the Junk. And in fact, we've got dueling Junkrats. Graviton Surge out, and sadly... I mean, guys, your guess is as good as mine. It's currently 20 minutes past 3 in the morning here, and I've no idea what we're supposed again.
Well, the good news is I don't think this is a flub on our end.
No.
The bad news is that probably means that one of the players is having a technical difficulty. So let's just take a minute, because now we have a little bit of time, I suppose, while this is going on, to talk about these compositions, because it's actually mirror comps for both these teams. They are running Rush with Junkrat Torbjorn.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I'd love to know if this was a mirror from the start or if this was an adaptation. It feels like it would need to be an adaptation on the defense, given how quick through the map we are, with nearly 3 minutes on the clock in point C.
Yeah, and well, I'd like to say that, but like, also there's some ultimates working up for both teams, so at least some of these heroes have to have been in the game for a while. I think at that point we're just, getting into the weeds in terms of speculation. So instead, I kind of want to talk about what we should expect from this mirror matchup composition. I never thought in the world that I would get a mirror matchup Junkrat Torbjorn Rush composition. That is not something I am readily prepared for, but it's something I'm willing to speculate wildly on, Phil.
Okay, well, speculate away, Paul.
So defensively, the DPS of this comp makes sense, right? Because you get the Junkrat set up, especially on point C. It's pretty narrow. You can spam relatively effectively. But then you have the fact that your tanks and your supports kind of want to go forward, right? There's only really one, or I guess you could nano the Torbjorn too, actually. So there's an array of nano targets for both Annas. It's strange compositions, but honestly, I really don't hate it, And if there's one thing I feel like we should be prepared for after today, Phil, it's strange composition.
Yeah, definitely. From our previous match, it's not maybe that surprising that people are starting to steer a little bit away from the meta composition. It's just a little bit unusual that this is particularly what we're seeing. And one of the things I did kind of want to touch on briefly is that you can use Torb in the rush, because with the overload and the additional speed,
certainly,
he becomes like a little armored Reaper, just like trying to storm through the lines. Ooh, nano boost onto the high charge Zarya. Ship now burning through them, glisten down. We will get the molten core out here as well. Looking good for Regen. They've got the kills on their side, and Ship completely unafraid at full charge, going toe to toe with 2 once that run down.
And if I remember correctly, Ship was Zarya I had my eye on back when it was Goats days, right? Pretty nasty on that hero, and Lava's got a pretty good Reinhardt too, so if this was an adaptation, if this is something that Regen are just now swapping over towards, it's not terribly surprising that they're going to start holding strong.
Ship has only really just used that capital surge, nearly has it ready to go again. Slipping around the Rosie with Riptire, baits out the fire strike and finds Glisten and buys them maybe 10 more seconds waiting for that respawn to come back.
Well, and Chopper can start working up to his next ultimate, right? So that's just a good way to buy time off the clock, and a relatively efficient one, assuming Chopper doesn't die immediately, because I was gonna say, grab nearly up, that's a great way to get ult, but now we're in trouble.
Yeah, cool ABC just hunkered down in the corner, couldn't make it work as Glisten runs him down on the top. HK Broke now back into the fray, up onto the high ground, maybe looking to recontest people as they come through. Akash, one with the hammer, one with the strike, and the cart gets rolling again.
Okay, but Ship should be able to just walk up and use the grab to straight up win this fight. Sound Barrier will keep everyone alive. A Molten Core in the grab too. That's some nasty DPS. You might not even need it though, as one's already down.
One pick already. There's the Molten Core from up on the high ropes. Won't be able to combo just quite with Molten Core, but enough damage being done there to secure a team fight win. And 1 minute left on the clock here. And hey, look, Cool ABC got himself a hammer kill.
Yeah, hammer kill's flashy and fun, but the real problem for Regen is they've used too many ultimates, right? They didn't need to use the Sound Barrier there or the Molten Core. One or the other would have been fine, but now you're just looking at Lava to pop off with an Earth Shatter and maybe a Nano to keep your front line alive. The good news is not much coming up here for 303 either.
Oh, and with Akash going down, now nothing on board. There's the Nano straight onto Lava, wades his way through Alexio, and comes in swinging, chases down Greg, runs in, goes for the tactical calisthenics, and now 20 seconds left on the clock, and Chopper nearly at another Riptire.
Oh, and if Chopper can get anything with this Riptire, anything at all, this should be Regen holding point C, right? So you've got to negate the Riptire coming out. You can shoot it. You can shoot it down entirely.
All Glisten with a Molten Core, Akash with a Shatter, but nothing but a face full of cold, hard shield, and there's no contest. Nice. That is a complete hold on C.
Good work there from Regen at the very end. Once again, I'm a little nonplussed by how many ultimates they're willing to dump into fights, but they make the next ones work. And in that fight in particular, I may have gotten a bit ahead of myself because while Regen did use a lot, there really wasn't much available in the ensuing fight for 303 Esports either, right? So it's not like it was a huge swing of momentum in favor of 303 because Regen overinvested. Now I'm just wondering, I think this is where we're going to get to see whether or not these two teams are opting into that composition or if one of them adapted to it. They're both rolling out with it here.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to go, I don't know, maybe in the interview at the end of this, we can get a rundown of exactly what happened. Because I was going to say, oh, we'll script back.
Call.
But no, the VOD. Who isn't the VOD? We are the VOD. Yeah, because it feels, I just don't feel like anybody is scrimming this on Junkertown. Like, I don't think this is a natural thing that's come out through scrimmage. I think it's got to have been, this isn't working. We've got to adapt and just landed on this.
Maybe Lunaris was scrimming this on Junkertown. Maybe this was a composition they pulled out against other teams. Trap at the door with the mine. I mean, this will get some damage at best. It should be the Reinhardt walking out first. I think they see it too.
Yeah. They delete it. I think there was maybe a little bit of ult charge there for barrier charge there for Ship, but not much else. Rearward position here, 3 Esports, but wow, HK Broke just gets deleted by Cool ABC. Chopper dives into the back line, and this is a very convincing fight win for Regen.
Well, and I'm surprised that 303 Esports took that fight so passively at first, right? They hold so far back with a composition that wants to brawl, right? And they allow Chopper and Cool ABC to just walk up onto their Junkrat. Now Alexio's gonna get staggered. This is maybe a desperate contest at the very end of this point, but nothing to work with in your ultimate bank if you're 303 Esports. Not a ton either, but I mean, there it is again.
Yeah, wow. These kills are so quick that it feels like people are just struggling generally across the board to generate ults. Like, we're one tick down in the map already, and nobody's got anything except arguably CJ.
Look at how little fear Cool ABC plays with.
Yeah, a lot of trust in the overload there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and why not, right? 5-minute time bank? What's the worst case scenario there for Cool ABC? He gets picked. Oh, no. Spawns right there, and he probably got a bunch of damage so his team can get that one. 303 Esports need to take an actual fight.
It's looking a little better here for 303 Esports. Although HQ Broke gets moved off the high ground, and we see the 1-for-1 trade, but Cool ABC with the forward position on the turret takes HQ Broke out of the fight. And whilst it looked like a good engagement at the start here for 303, Regen just respond in devastating fashion. So much aggression, so much focus, so much desire for that hammer kill for Cool ABC.
I'm not going to lie. Because of the time bank, I thought that this was maybe 303's composition that Regen adapted to, but it's looking like Regen are the masters of it. Cool ABC with a beautiful pinch there. The flank, essentially, those angles are nasty. With just the Reinhardt shield, you're not going to be able to cover from that. Now the Riptire's out immediately. I mean, that's the fight right there. I mean, best case scenario, you stall some time with a recontest.
As well, they're just not being allowed to play this point. That's it. Point B with one incredibly scrappy fight from 303. It was basically given to Regen on a silver platter.
And now we got a 5.5-minute time bank, Phil. I mean, there are very few worlds where Regen flub this down the drain. Chopper going down early, I mean, that's a little bit of hope here for 303 Esports, but you're still walking into so many ultimates, all of which are devastating, right?
There's the Molten Core. Grab out from Cool ABC. Oh, sorry, Molten Core grab out, and that secures 3 quick kills and a kill onto the turret there as well. And they've not got far to go. Regen have got a 30 meters, less than that now on the point. And I mean, they're just not ready to contest.
I mean, you can call it basically right now. I don't even think anybody gets to the objective. If they do, they die immediately, and then we're in a 5v6.
Oh, what a shatter as well.
There it is.
That is it. Boys, that was an absolute clinic from Regen.
Regen. Dang. Cool ABC, I mean, maybe it's something from early. Maybe it's something from... No, it's right here at the end. The molten floor. Under the grav. And that's what I was talking about early, right? I mean, that's just nasty DPS. Cool ABC, put the hammer away. Come on, man. You know you don't need that one.
Every time he was going for it. Every time the hammer came out.
Dang, and now Regen, I mean, they're on match point now, right? One more, and they will continue on in our bracket, knocking 303 Esports out entirely.
And honestly, if this is an indication of what the form is like when we're away from the more chaotic realm of the control points, then this could be another quick map coming up. We've got to see some better adaptations, maybe coming out from 303, because in the mirror, they just looked lost on that comp.
Yeah, they got blasted entirely, right? And I mean, you know, I don't think it's fair necessarily to pin all of that as like 303 didn't know how to play the composition. It was just fight after fight. Somebody got picked, and like toward the end of it, it's like, yeah, okay, you're in a grav molten core, not much you can do there. You get hit by the Riptire, that makes a degree of sense and ruins that last fight on B, right? But those early picks, HQ broke, going down, I think 2 or 3 times in a row, that's devastating. That's what loses you maps.
Yeah, it's really fortunate. It's down to, you know, errors, small errors in positioning, small errors in not quite being able to keep track of where the enemy is for every given play of the game. Just means that you find yourself constantly on the back foot, and it's, you know, little differences like that that really separate a team like Regen from 303 Esports. We're not going to count 303 out just yet. Of course, we've still got at least one more map to go. They can easily take Numbani if they play it right. So, you know, still plenty more to see here. But Regen, I kind of feel like the comp they were just running here probably has a lot of mileage in Numbani as well, particularly with all the high ground around point A. Like, I think this could be a real winner for them.
Yeah, you could certainly run it here. But while we're waiting to load in the map, into Numbani, let's remind everybody, Phil, this is the Trial of Champions. We're partnered with Hank One here today. Canadian Research Foundation, fighting against pancreatic cancer, the cancer with the lowest survival rate out of all cancer types, 8% survival rate, and research funding towards pancreatic cancer cures only get 2% across cancer types too. So please, guys, exclamation point donate in the chat. Even if you can just give $1, half of the money will go to Pank 1 and half of it will go to the prize pool for all of these wonderful players you are getting the enjoyment of watching. So it's a good cause forwards and back.
Yeah, I mean, supporting grassroots Overwatch, Tier 2, Tier 3 Overwatch, and cancer research, you really can't get much better mileage for your money. So, yeah, exclamation mark donate in the chat, please, guys.
But as you were alluding to earlier, Phil, let's talk about Numbani. Because honestly, we've seen only mirrors from these two teams, and they're very different types of mirror, right? Because map 1, dive mirror. I could see either team pulling that out on defense for A, right? Regen, they're going to be starting off on the defense, but that doesn't transfer as well as other compositions toward the backside of the map. So if we're talking about what we've already seen these teams run, as you were kind of alluding to, I think the Junkertown comp makes a good degree of sense.
So we're now in map and getting ready to go. Just got to wait for our little timer to tick down before we can see exactly what we're going to be seeing here on the defense, at least first off. And I don't know about you, Paul. Numbani, probably one of my favorite maps in this set. I don't feel like we get to see it often enough. It feels like a much maligned map.
It's a very cool, like,
Yeah.
aesthetic too, right? Does that say Sigma Bot Couture?
It does, yeah.
I have never noticed that before in my life. Did Sigma used to own?
Well, that was the thing. Like when the Sigma code name was leaked, people were like, oh well, I already know there's a Sigma in the game. Maybe we're getting a fashion-oriented hero. Nope, sadly not.
Did not happen whatsoever. Although you could call Sigma pretty fashionable in and of his own right, especially in that Maestro skin, right?
Pretty fly for a Dutch guy.
I'm not sure what that means there, Phil, but we're just gonna blow right past it.
It's 330 more than it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. All right, moving on though. We do have, well, I was gonna say a dive defense, but actually, Lava's hitting up the Roadhog. We've got 2 Roadhogs on the field. Is this 2018?
I think it must be. Yeah, Roadhog Orisa on the offense as well. I guess just going to be looking to try and maybe halt look at DPS and get themselves that early advantage. So not taking the shot yet.
Interestingly enough. Yeah, no, this is an aggressive push in. It's not going to go too well.
The opening pick. Akash able to find Lava here. HK Broke still up on the high ground. And Akash with the third. And this has been a great offense from 303. Ship's able to punch back a little ways here, but it's Zen on Zen in the corridor. Annie coming out on top. And that's going to be looking like an early cap for 303.
Okay, well, I said it wasn't going to go well. That was just blatantly false, because I suppose Regen just wanted to run straight into the Roadhog. Now Lava's going to get slept too? This is devastating.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. Chopper is able to find Alexia here, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. CJ is out with ABC back on the point, and HK Broke rapidly closing in on a blade, but it's cool ABC coming out with one first. Slash onto the Widowmaker, there's the second, the dash reset as well. Only finds one, but might have just bought enough time here for Regen to stabilize.
Regen had no right to get into this. This is becoming ludicrous here, Phil. I mean, HK Broke is even going to try and go for a little bit of a back cap. Okay, he's getting out of there now, but there's still picks all across the map. 303 could easily come back into this.
What a jump, what a bubble there to protect Magic Maypole. Just keeps him alive. Chopper on the high ground. Now has to deal with an Anabusi. Genji encroaching upon his personal space. Slicing and dicing. Finds Magic Maypole and Ship. And it was a momentary stay of execution for Regen there on the retake. And 303 moving into streets.
And I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Regen have absurd stalls. And a lot of the time, it will get them back into fights, win them objectives, or at the very least, buy a lot of time off the clock, right? Because there should be another minute and a half on the board here for 303 Esports that they are not going to be able to work with now. Going into this next fight, they're going to come up against not too many deadly ultimates, realistically speaking. But if they wait too long, Cool ABC is going to have some nasty advantage.
Yeah, speaking of which, the Nano Boost allows him to get that last little tick of ult charge. Triggers the Transcendence from Annie, desperately trying to herd Alexio away, but it's not going to happen. However, Chopper, alive and in charge at the back of the point, has the line through mid up towards 303. Spawn pushes right the way up, looking for another line through onto somebody as they try and make their way back. And a good retake here from Regen.
Lava was thinking about getting a little sneaky there, but he'll think better of it. Ooh. Chopper nearly dies. That would have been it. That would have been point B more than likely. But now you can come back in with a Transcendence.
Transcendence not enough to keep Ship alive with him. Too late. Lava in the back with the hook. Takes Annie down, but in the meantime, Cool ABC is going to be picked out here. We'll see the whole hog coming in from Kakashi. They might not need much more than that. It did get the nano on top, so that's a stupid amount of damage coming out of the nano boosted whole hog. And a cash by CJ. He's still going. He's looking for more. He can't find Chopper. And Chopper with the double. Chopper with the triple, in fact, might just be able to keep this alive for the team.
Well, there you can absolutely recontest this now. There's only a tank and 2 supports on the cart.
There we go. We've got the Winston, we've got the Genji on point contesting, buying the space for Chopper to click heads, and click heads he does. Annie down. And that's going to be Greg down as well. One more time, Regen, retake the cards.
Man, and who else retakes that, right? Who else gets those exit kills, lives to tell the tale, and manages to come back in? Nobody but Regen. The problem is they're still losing people pretty early in these fights. So while they're getting good stalls, they're not winning full-on team fights because they're not being able to take full-on team fights.
We've got a bevy of ultimates available now for 303. Cool ABC, between himself and CJ, likely to get this nano-boosted Dragon Blade online fairly soon. Ship down. Cool ABC once more with the blade. Finds the quad kill. Even having lost a member at the start of the fight, such an important member, Regen just find that little bit extra to make it work.
There we go. That's the full team fight you needed. And honestly, 303, I wouldn't say they handed that to Regen, but they definitely allowed it to happen considering how long they took after Glisten found Chopper to actually pull the trigger on that fight. Should have been an easy 5v6. Now they have to walk into a full team fight with not too much to their names, 303. Really just the Transcendence and the Nano coming up.
Like the aggression coming out from Cool ABC, but he's at a very real risk there of losing that 1v1. He eventually takes it. Glisten's going to go down. Chopper finds a Greg, and we've got Monkey Ship swinging arms in an enclosed space looking for picks. Now, just over a minute left on the clock here for 303 Esports, and Regen have done such a good job here of stalling out so close to the end of the streets phase.
Yeah, just one more minute, right? I mean, this, again, should have been like 6-minute time bank on point B, but because Regen play every fight tooth and nail, this is barely even going to go over to 303 if it does. Transcendence gets forced out early, which is a good start. HK Broke can now pull out his blade with nothing to stop it except maybe a sleeper or hook.
Yeah, Sleeper Hook will only do so much for this, but in comes the nano-boosted Dragon Blade from HK Broke, finds the double, looking for the third, sees his rival there, Cool ABC, just able to get around the corner, but the chase is still on. In comes the dash. Cool ABC is still alive. The cart has not finished its journey just yet, and we're about to see another nano-boosted Dragon Blade on the table. But Cool ABC is going to go down, and the cart is finally, with a scant 8 seconds on the clock, going to roll into point C.
Yeah, I mean, there's 90 seconds remaining, right? I mean, might as well save the Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade, for next round. These picks are nice. They'll get you a little bit of progress here. But the real problem for 303 Esports is because they were forced down to so little time, they had to use so much to actually get point B. They'll have a Supercharger and a Transcendence. They should be able to survive long enough in this next fight to get some key ultimates and find the picks necessary. But a Nano Blade or a Nano Dragon Blade can ruin that.
The Transcendence come out, but it's not enough to protect Alexio. And I believe we may even have had a little bit of a Nadian over the top. Listen's able to find Ship in the confusion, but Cool ABC might have done enough here to stem the bleeding. 2 picks already. Lava has the whole hog ready to go. Breaks the shield, goes fishing. Coming up with nothing but a big old boots. Still holding on to the order for now. And now the infra sights up. huge advantage here for Chopper, and that's probably going to slow 303 down a little ways.
Well, the respawns are much closer. That's a nasty hook.
Interrupted in the middle of the whole hog. Immediately hooked out of it. Cooler ABC secures the 5v6 for now. Chopper looking to try and deal with HK Broke on the way through. HK Broke's going to get out of dodge, unsurprisingly. And we're going to see the kills once more fall in favor of Regen with just 10 seconds on the clock. We've got a boosted Zen, y'all.
Oh, Magic 8-Ball, he's feeling it right now. CJ is letting his support just run rampant. He doesn't have the nano anymore, but it doesn't matter. No one can get there, Phil.
That's absolutely massive. That feels like, instinctively, that to me feels like a BM nano boost. Like, we know they can't touch. We're just going to show them that we had this and we didn't need it.
Well, but yes and no, right? Because there is a world, right? Maybe somebody touches Magic 8-Ball, you know, doesn't necessarily die there. Where because he got nanoed, he actually gets up to Transcendence. He was at 97% when he got hooked by Akash there, I believe. So it's not actually a terrible play to give Magic 8-Ball nano there. And it's these kinds of split-second decisions from Regen. Yes, we can take this fight. We can stall this out. We can nano our Zen here that give them advantages time and time and time again, even if it's just one of time bank.
I'm just continuously surprised in this matchup by the compositions that we're seeing here. Like, it seems...
Gotta love 2-3, man.
I do. Like, you love to see a team that has gone, okay, well, we don't like playing the meta, we don't think we're that good at playing the meta, or is just staffed with inventive coaches and players and has like, oh, we've got another way to tackle this problem. And we've somehow got an Orisa Roadhog Genji Widow mirror, which I couldn't have predicted coming into this one. Could you? Oh, hi.
Oh, I couldn't have predicted that pick either, and that's just nice time off the clock. But no, because reminder for anyone who's maybe just tuning in, Sigma's not banned. There's no hero pools for Trial of Champions, right? You could just run the double shield. You could be running Ashe instead of Widowmaker, but no. It's all about the 1v1s.
Chopper went flank there, couldn't quite find anything with that, and instead is going to get taken out by HK Broke, who is significantly outpacing Cool ABC in terms of ult charge.
Yeah, I mean, he's already halfway to the blade, right? I mean, part of that is because HP Broke got that beautiful pick on early, so he could play a little bit further forward with a little bit more impunity. Akash, though, you can't play that far forward.
No, you cannot, not without being punished by Lava, without a bit of help there from Magic 8-Ball in the open Discord. And now the signal comes out that it's time to push. Got to be careful because Glisten is away in the back, and it's not going to take much for him to pick somebody off here. Looking to get through the shield, had a line through there onto CJ, but couldn't find it. HK Broke with the blade into the tanks, slicing and dicing. Took a few to break through that arm, but did get it eventually. With a nice hold here for 303. Regen's still a long way from key ultimates.
And I'm not going to lie, we were talking about the off tanks, the compositions, right? If you were running Sigma there, you probably take the point, right? Because sure, you don't maybe get the hook on Akash because he's overextended, but you can still hit the accretion. It's a stun. You still get that elimination. And then once you have all that space to work with, you can protect your backline. Magic 8-Ball probably wouldn't have died so easily, and you would have been able to get onto the objective. Now, no ultimates for Regen outside of a nano boost, right? Who are they going to throw it on? Lava? Cool ABC doesn't have the blade yet.
Lava is getting very close to the whole hog, and we've seen just how much damage nano boost the whole hog can do, but it is decidedly harder to make work. We'll see instead it going onto Cooler ABC, and Akash is going toe-to-toe with Chopper downstairs, finds the hook. And here is the Dragon Blade. It's got to come up trumps here. Has to spend a lot of time in the Reflect. Will start to find picks. One there onto Greg. And they may just have enough here. Glisten's still up. Still trying to find a lot of value. There's the hook. Drags the Transcendence that little bit closer. And and he thinks better of it and goes for a bit of a run in the other direction.
Well, the hook there might drag the Transcendence closer, but it doesn't get it onto point. And it stops Annie from being able to decide his own movement and actually get to the objective, right? Lava dictates where Annie is going to be playing there, even though he knows he's not going to get that elimination. So point B unlocked now for Regen. 3.5 minutes on the clock. An Infrasight keeping people at bay and a Supercharger. 303 should just disengage.
Looks like they're not going to be given the option, and he tries to retreat and instead finds himself in the line of fire of Chopper. We've got the nano boost onto the Widowmaker here. Not going to save him from HK broken the blade, though. There's the pick onto Lava, and that might be as far as the cart rolls for now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I liked the Nano Widow for like a split second until I heard the blade, and then I'm like, oh, well, even with the damage reduction, you don't tank those, Chopper. Oh man, if CJ got staggered there, it would have been brutal, but it's still pretty brutal here for Regen regardless. They don't have that Nano now for this upcoming Dragon Blade. Good news is no Transcendence, right? So the Dragon Blade from Cool ABC should be able to find value regardless. Glisten? On a cheeky little angle here, but it's Chopper who finds the first pick.
Yeah, Glisten spent too long looking for that. He now knows where Chopper is, but isn't being given the space to make anything happen with it. Really sees a way here in the back. A line through onto the supports. Finds Annie, gets the reflect on the sleep, brings out the blade, takes him down. Lava gets Akash with the whole hog, and now we've got 3 minutes 40 seconds to get most of the way to points.
That was so beautiful from Regen, too. They see the tank coming down to contest the objective, Greg dropping from the high ground, and they go, yeah, that's cute and all, but what if we just kill the back line? Halt goes forward, Dash comes in, Cool ABC easily cleans that up. Now we've got a pretty healthy time bank. You don't even have to complete all the way here.
No, not at all, but a lot of damage through there. CJ takes him out of the fight. AT Broke's going to have the blade ready for the next one. And this is a possible hold, but it's going to be a difficult one. And that was a fight that it looked like they'd won, but AT Broke still commits the blade in this one. And I think he might want that for the next team fight over.
Not just that, but the Nano, too. Cool ABC is still having fun back here. I mean, he's just working up towards his own blade. He was never going to be able to win that, especially with the spawns that close. But now we've got Transcendence coming up for Regen, a Nano yet again for CJ. They haven't been afraid to just throw those onto Cool ABC so he can work up to Blade either. So Cool ABC's Blade might come up quicker than you think, especially with Ship nearing that Supercharger. This is a rough one.
Cash, boy, he went looking for the hook, found the fortified Orisa, and Chopper just takes his head off at the shoulders, and Chopper now has the high ground. He's corralled Glisten in. Glisten throws in the Infrasight. But we're going to see Magic Mayfall going toe-to-toe, goes to the body block, chases him off the high ground, and Cool ABC has the blade, has the nano, has the picks, but now has to deal with the whole hog right into the face and gets taken down. So despite how good that was, for Regen, 303 just to claw it back. There is still 2 minutes to work with.
A breath of fresh air for 303. As a reminder, this is still match point for Regen. Just 3 meters separate Regen from the next round and knocking 303 out. Superchargers available for both teams, but HK Broke is nearing that Dragon Blade. There shouldn't be a world outside of a Miracle Sleep where Regen take this fight.
Supercharge is a good opener, though, and Greg's going to go down here. Chopper's going to look for the rotation and try and get a pick onto support in the back line. And we can't see 303 taken away from the point at all. There's the whole hog, the pick onto Akash. The whole hog buys the space. The sleep will come through, but it's too little, too late. And Regen take the series in a straight 3-match ball.
Regen know, hey, you know what? We're having fun. We're going for the back line. But guys, if we just take control of the cart, if we just pop their tanks, then we just win the map, and that's exactly what they do. HK Broke will get the consolation play of the game. Not a bad blade, not bad play from him on the Genji today. But in the end, it's not enough. Regen, they will continue on in 303. They will not be the champions of this trial.
Unfortunately not. They still have a chance to run back through the... Oh, no, sorry. This is the lower bracket. That's it. They're done and dusted. Well, again, one more time, I'm going to blame the time of day on...
It's like 4 a.m. for you. We can give you a break.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think there were some genuinely brilliant moments there from 303. I would have loved to have seen a bit more of their run through Junkertown, because coming into point C with a 3 minute plus time bank suggests a blistering run through Junkertown. We saw that was kind of the same for Regen. It's a shame that we didn't get to spectate that, but I still think they put up an admirable fight in the face of Regen, who are known to be a very strong team in the region.
Yeah, and we get to talk with somebody from Regen now. We're going to have an interview in just a minute here, and I can't wait to pick their brain about Junkertown specifically.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm just going to wait on word from the producer as to whether we are expecting to throw to a break prior to the interview.
Normally we've been thrown to break before the interview because we got to get the player in here. So I think we'll do that one, Phil.
Okay. In which case, guys, we'll be back as soon as we've got an interview ready for you. Don't go too far. I'm sure it'll be a spicy one. Back, everybody. I told you we'd be back before too long, and we are here with CJ from
Regen.
I've just gone blank. Regen, thank you.
Regen. I got you, Phil. It's like I said earlier, 4 a.m. for you. We'll give you a pass or two.
Thanks. CJ, welcome. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, honestly. We had a lot of fun that match. Yeah.
It looked fun. So we unfortunately didn't get to see a certain part of Junkertown. So we came into the map going, this is a comp. this is a comp that nobody was expecting. So we were hoping we could kind of pick your brain on some of what was going on there. So the Torbjorn Junkrat Rush comp. What was the provenance of that? What was the thinking behind it?
So we know like the meta is like double shield.
Yeah.
So we're like, what's something that can break shield fast? And we're like kind of decent at brawl. So like, okay, so let's just like have a mix of those. So we did Junk Torb, and then we just ran brawl.
Okay. So then that was your composition that 303 Esports at some point in the map swapped to mirror?
Yes.
Okay. That makes a degree of sense. So did 303 Esports then at the beginning of Junkertown come out on the double shield?
They did not. They also came out on brawl. So
Oh, okay. So it was just a minor swap up. You guys honestly were mirroring each other more than not throughout this series, which was interesting because there wasn't any double shield Genji Ash that you might expect in, modern day of Overwatch when we talk about no hero pools. How was it for you guys adapting to the mirror matchup? How often do you guys get to practice against mirror matchups like those when you're running things like Roadhog?
we don't get to practice a lot because most people just run like the meta, and us personally, we're not like that good at like the double shield like spam, I guess. So we're just like trying some like different comps and stuff to see like what would work.
That's
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, go for it.
You go for it, Paul.
Oh, I was just gonna say tomorrow you guys are up against Nocturnal. That's another team from the Prospect Cup, but one that I don't believe played in your guys' group. Have you guys faced off or scrimmed against Nocturnal? How are you expecting that match to play out?
I feel like it's gonna be like a good match between us because we're like both like considered to be like the top tier 3 teams, like along with
Sure.
Luminous and like our zero. So like I feel like it's gonna be a good match.
Great. Well, CJ, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for playing. Anything you'd like to say or anyone you'd like to shout out before we say goodbye?
Just thanks to everyone that's like helping run this tournament, and shout out to the coaches at Regen and staff and everything.
Great. Well, CJ, thank you very much again for turning up. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of your run through this tournament of champions goes. But for myself and for Plausible, I'm afraid that's all you're going to get from us today, everybody. But don't worry, because there is more tournament of champions coming your way in the not too distant future. We're going to be handing over to Beanies and Pulse just as soon as we can get them in here, ready to go, and in a lobby, ready to cast some more Overwatch. And of course, one more time before we go, remember this is a charitable event. We're here supporting the pancreatic cancer charity Pank One. And if you would like to get involved in donating, the command in the chat is !donate, and anything you give will be split evenly between both the charity and the prize pool for the teams competing today. So it's an excellent way to both support grassroots Overwatch and support cancer research. Paul, before we call time, anything you want to say?
Oh, the next match is going to be a fire one, too. So make sure you stick around. Scion Esports, who just won a 5-map series against Revival, is going to go up against the winner of Avoided and Kratos.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, guys. Stick around for that one.